mean,
I got a good team over there, so
you know,
that makes sense.
hopefully it goes quick and we'll also put in a porch or patio in front to Thomas
Like a
Pond.
haircut.
So it's gonna have the steps a little longer and
taking my hat
shorter,
off.
you know, so she
I'm not taking my hat
cane
off.
or a walker, she can get up those stairs.
Yeah.
easy,
I'm not as
you know.
not as
Be
confident
safe
as you guys
with
are.
it.
Yeah, that's what's important.
Just go for it.
Because mine right now, those stairs are
People
pretty
care for like
steep.
2 days,
And
and
the
then
twins
they're just
kinda-
over it.
Yeah,
Struggle with it, so.
it's short.
I haven't gotten over it in 20 years.
That's not better.
It's not pretty
I think I got it.
I take it off.
Sitting down after I let it go so we can go back down again.
Yeah.
Alright, it is 6 o'clock. We'll stand for the pledge.
Now I gotta take my hat off. I say all that.
I'm sure.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alright. Just a reminder to silence your cell phones. We'll start with roll call.
Mayor Sherman.
Here.
Councillor Horton.
Here.
Councillor Klinkhammer. Councillor Lindstrom.
Yep.
Councillor Scalisi.
Here.
Councillor Spradlin.
Here.
Councillor Tyree.
Here.
Very good. Approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or revisions for the agenda tonight? Nope. If not, I'd look for a motion to approve.
Move to approve. Oh, go ahead.
I move we approve the agenda for the regular meeting of August 25th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councillor Lindstrom.
Yes.
Councillor Horton.
Yes.
Councillor Scalisi.
Yes.
Councillor Tyree.
Yes.
Councillor Spradlin.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. Motion passes. We've all had a chance to look through the minutes of our last meeting. Does anybody have any corrections? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve.
I move we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of August 11th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councillor Spradlin.
Yes.
Councillor Tyree.
Yes.
Councillor Scalisi.
Yes.
Councillor Horton.
Yes.
Councillor Lindstrom.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. Visitors and delegations. Is there somebody here from MCEDC? Kristen. There you are. Okay, Kristen. Kristen Basil.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I have some handouts for you guys.
Do you want me to help with those?
I'll go in stages to stay on track. So I'm going to give you updates on kind of our activity and all that fun stuff. Just pass around. 1 minute.
You could put Tyler to work if you need to.
Okay. Well, yeah, keep one for myself. So the first page is going to be titled Responsible Economic Development. And some of this may be repetitive, but consistency is key. So this is kind of how we've outlined our efforts for economic development and Pyramid in strongest shape for supporting things. So from the bottom up, leadership, which would be where council falls for economic development, county commissioners, any elected officials, and then working our way up to the very top. So we have a stable foundation for leadership and going up to the community development activities. And I think everybody can agree we do lack in some of these areas. As far as workforce, we have a limited workforce to get to the very top of the pyramid. Housing is also a challenge. So one of the things over the last few years we've talked about is how can economic development as an organization be more engaged and support these and have a more active role in the community. So if you go to the next page, you'll see a glorious facade of a building. And we actually purchased this building at the end of last year and moved in and are operating in there now. And we've done some work to the facade. We recently partnered with the county for a READY grant and were awarded full award to renovate the building to add another bathroom, a conference room, and kind of a kitchenette area. I would encourage anybody, if you're in Fort Morgan, to come visit. We have done a lot of work already, and there is a 12-person station set up inside for working and business support for business meetings. But the goal of this building is to become sort of an innovation center. We have a lot of programs and partners, and we'd like to bring everybody into one place to work on economic development activity for the entire county. So this is just an overview of what we're doing. We are doing a fundraiser. The building is located on Railroad next to the brewery, so you may have seen it. We do have new windows on half of the building and a newer entryway compared to this photo. But the goal of the Brick fundraiser is to raise matching dollars for work that we're doing to the building. The Ready grant was for $87,000, and there's a $40,000 match within that. So we do have we've already put about $60,000 into the building. So we're looking to sell bricks just to raise money for the additional support. So there's 3 different tiers. There's information on here. We've already raised about $3,000 for the bricks. So that's just information and an idea of what the building looks like, and kind of hopefully you'll stay engaged and come visit to see the changes. The next thing that falls in line with the pyramid and the building is our revolving loan fund. And this year we've had a big push for marketing our revolving loan fund to be more active in the community. Our revolving loan fund is something we've had for 16 years. We provide small business loans to entrepreneurs in Morgan County. Right now we have a cap of $25,000, and over the years we've lent out, well, $1.2 million is the most recent we've lent out to businesses in the area. A few years ago we were awarded a $5 million grant from USDA to support this fund. Those dollars have been allocated, and once all of those dollars revolve, we keep the interest and the principal, and we can relend it out. The interest is what really grows the fund. So once the $5 million is fully allocated, which should happen in the next month or two, that'll generate almost $200,000 a year in interest, so we can continue to keep lending. And one of the goals is job creation, and we've created over 50 jobs with the loans that have been lent out already, probably more than that actually. That's a little pamphlet we created to market it. We do partner heavily with our local banks, and we have a committee that reviews all the applications that has representation from each bank. So it has created some competitiveness, which is good. We've had some banks end up fully lending to partner to individuals that have come to us for a smaller loan. They're like, oh, we'll do it. So we encourage that. We want that. We don't want to compete with the banks. We want to be supplemental. So they either have, an applicant either has to be fully declined by a bank or coming to us for support to work closely with the bank to make the loan happen. So that's one of the programs we offer in that building, our new building at 118 West Railroad. And through that program, we're also working to develop a business boot camp to further business education and strengthen small businesses in Morgan County. One thing we do find is financial acumen is a challenge when presenting financials for your loan application. So our goal is to create a boot camp to help businesses from start to finish of starting a business and then having maintained resources and mentors through that program. And then next, any questions so far? Okay. So next, and I've talked about this before, our Route 76 program. This falls in line with the community development and that second, the blue area of the pyramid for workforce. Last year we launched Route 76 in the high schools, where we worked with juniors and seniors that were hopefully staying in Morgan County and going directly into the workforce or unsure of what they were going to do. So last year in Brush we had 7 juniors and seniors go through the program and complete programs in welding, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. Last year's hot one was electrical. We're working with 2 of the graduates to get them placed in jobs locally. So I've highlighted our major employers that we are working with on programs on that page. This year we have 7 students again. And this year the program of choice is plumbing. So these are apprenticeship programs, and the students walk away with OSHA 10 and in plumbing like 47 hours of training. So this program is sustainable for the foreseeable future through grants and other partnerships with the schools. And then we just launched phase 2, which is working with our employers, and we are customizing a program for one of our employers in Morgan County, and they will be coming on site to our new space to do team training and building for this program. So they'll have lockout, tagout, and a couple of other programs specific to them, and then encouraging that team building by having it on site so they're all getting the same information at the same time and they know what each other knows But that's our goal of phase 2 of the program, is to do customized program for existing employers in the community. There is another page on there. Last year, being a pilot program, we did snack packs each week, and we awarded the students, you score points when you complete the program. And so every week we would provide a little candy bag to the top earner, and they got really excited about it. So this year we wanted to elevate it and create some competition among the schools, because we are in Brush, Fort Morgan, and Wiggins. And so our first one is to provide sweatshirts that are sponsored with that Route 76 logo on there, and then have businesses that support the program help purchase sweatshirts for the participants of the program. So that's mentioned on there, and just some other things we're trying to do to keep that program exciting for the kids. And then last program month, a few years ago, we did start the Diversification Foundation. It's been slowly growing, and we first started the funds on that through a Congressional Directed Spending Grant, and we're able to start that fund with $25,000, and then for the last 4 years, we've done the Boxlock Beer Garden, and the proceeds that we split with the Fort Morgan Chamber have gone into the foundation. And the goal of the foundation is to, again, strengthen our businesses in Morgan County by providing grant support. We do have some areas we would prefer that they participate in, but we've kept the guidelines pretty limited, just on a case-by-case basis and what some businesses need. So now that fund is over $50,000, and we just did our first award to a business in Morgan County of $5,000. So we granted $5,000 to that one business. And then this year at Bobstock, it was our biggest year. So each organization will net about close to $17,000. So that will go back into that pot so that we can grant businesses in Morgan County to help them grow. And then lastly, I know the one question everybody wants to know is what's coming to Morgan County. Patience is key. So this would be the top of the pyramid, and the goals of our organization is to get to that top for business recruitment, retention, expansion, and entrepreneur development. Business recruitment is always a challenge when you're talking about major employers, which is our target. And so we really want to make sure that mid-tier of community development is strong and able to support anybody we recruit. I created a tracker of all the companies I've been working with since I started. I did not include solar companies on here because they're hit or miss, and there are a lot of them. But currently there are 13 businesses from 2000 until now. Only one of them has completed their project, and it was actually a move from the Front Range out here, and that happened this year. So James Engineering, just located in the industrial park just west of Fort Morgan off of Industrial Road. They're a machine shop and kind of manufacturer of parts for Boeing and other airlines. So they're in the process of moving out here, and they're in what we call the pre-launch stage. But the other businesses, I have some that I engaged with in 2020 and others in 2021, and they're still in the site selection stage, or they've just completely discontinued. And the reason I bring this up is when it takes time. I have peers that have been in this longer than me, and it's taken 10 years to get a project off the ground. So when it sounds like nothing's going on, that's not true. But what council and any other municipality can do is work to get shovel-ready sites. And we will be meeting for the Just Transition stakeholders meeting. We're having one September 8th and 9th. And if you can make it, I encourage you to attend. Information hasn't gone out yet. We're still locking down the site, but that will be to go over the Just Transition plan. And they did site analysis in there so that we can identify which sites were shovel-ready and what needs to get them to shovel-ready. But a lot of it is having roads and clear boundaries set up for an industrial park or business park, and having those completed with taps to or close to sites, so that all they have to do is do the curb cut and then get the taps set up. So for a lot of these, we don't have a lot of land available for development, and so some of them are 100 acres that they're looking for, which is a challenge. But some of them are 5 to 10 acre sites, and the sites that are in Morgan County just aren't ready for that. So hopefully we can get something going so that I can get some of these locked down and moved in here. But A couple of them have been discontinued, and water and land availability was a challenge. One was for animal processing. And then another one was a renewal project that, with the regulations and recent changes, they just fell off. So that's another thing that tends to happen that we don't have control of, is the political climate. Local policy or state or federal can also change projects quite quickly and either stall them, delay them, or completely eliminate them. So we wanted to give you those updates and hopefully see you at our new building here soon. Any questions? Okay, if anybody's hiring, let us know. We have high school students eager to go to work.
No. Thank you, Kristen. All right, citizen comments. Do I have anybody here for citizen comments? Citizens are invited to speak to council on any item that does not have a public hearing scheduled. There's a 5-minute time limit per person unless otherwise noted by the name mayor. Anybody? Okay. So we'll move on to management. We've got a public hearing on an ordinance. Granting, we'll just go ahead and open the public hearing. And we'll get a staff report from Tyler. Should I announce what it's about?
Yeah, I
Or-
can read just a brief recap,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
fine.
I was like, I could read all that, but then you're gonna just read it all again.
Yeah, quite all right. So last month, I did a very short staff report. Essentially, we're renewing our franchise agreement with Charter Spectrum for the services, cable services specifically, that they provide based on the FCC rules. And so that's expiring, and so we've been working with John on getting that renewed, making some changes and updates that are relevant to the times and the needs at hand. The current process for ordinances is that it's brought, and there's a first reading and a publication period, and so that then brings it to the second reading, where there's a public hearing here and now, give the community any opportunity to share any comments for that, and then if council choose to proceed with the second reading and adoption of the ordinance, and officially we go forward with the renewed franchise agreement. So yeah, we're like I said, renewing mainly what was there before, which is with a few updates. Forgot to look, it was the last time, I think it's is it 10 years now? Yeah, a 10-year renewal period for that. So that's the general gist of it. We can dive into the weeds if you like, but I'll stop right there.
All right. Do we have anyone that wants to speak on behalf of Charter?
Thank you, Mayor Sherman, council members. This is Tyler Sutton, John Lee. I'm the Senior Manager for Government Affairs for Charter Spectrum in Colorado. Very grateful to Administrator Torres, Tyler, outside council. This was a very smooth process, very collaborative. Folks were super responsive. 10 years is a pretty standard period of time for these things. The city's receiving the full 5% of the franchise fee that's available to you under federal law. And we very much look forward to continuing to provide service here. Thanks very much, all.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Members of the public have an opportunity to make statements either in support or in opposition of the ordinance. Do we have anybody here to speak on this ordinance? Does not look like it. Okay. So, we'll go on to council deliberations. We can discuss and ask questions. Anybody have any questions or want to make any comments? Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will go ahead and close the public, ask for motion to close the public hearing at this point.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Tyree?
Yes.
Councilor Horton?
Yes.
Councilor Spradlin?
Yes.
Councilor Lindstrom?
Yes.
Councilor Scalise?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, so we will, we need to do the second reading. So I need someone to move to approve on second reading and read the entire title of the ordinance.
Move to approve on second reading, ordinance number 914-25, granting a non-exclusive franchise by the City of Brush, Colorado to Spectrum Pacific West LLC and its lawful successors. Transferees and assigned for the right to make reasonable and lawful use of the right-of-way within the city to construct, operate, maintain, reconstruct, repair, and upgrade a cable system for the purpose of providing cable services to citizens within the city of Brush, Colorado, and adopting the franchise agreement as the primary code of reference.
Second.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Counselor Scalise,
Yes.
Counselor Tyree,
Yes.
Counselor Lindstrom,
Yes.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, that motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, we've got another public hearing on a special use permit. I'll go ahead and open this public hearing, and you'll get a staff report from Tyler Perkins.
Just a moment. All right, so. All right, we're in business. So this is for a special use permit for a home business here in Brush. The staff report provided to council, I'm going to go ahead and go through that for the sake of our public hearing here overall. Jennifer and Jason Klingler, they're requesting the special use permit to operate a seasonal retail boutique in the existing what's called carriage house. You might walk by and look at it and see it as an old garage, but it serves its original purpose as a carriage house, meaning that's where you put your horse carriage, on the residential property at 403 Cameron Street, which according to our code requires a special use permit approval from City Council. So the subject property itself is located, it's actually 3 lots consolidated together on the northeast corner of Cameron and Eaton Street. According to county assessor records, the property is part of the original town subdivision in 1882. The house and the garage/carriage house were originally constructed in 1909. They're not designated as historical properties, but they have a lot of charm to them. And the applicants have owned the property since 2022. So the intention of this special use, if approved, as I said, is a seasonal retail boutique. It will serve as a small-town, community-focused shop, offering homemade items and treats, as well as curated gifts and retail products sourced from various local and national suppliers, while maintaining the residential character and charm of the neighborhood. This is the site plan that was done very, very well, I might add. We get a lot of unusual site plans from homeowners, and most of them are not nearly this detailed. So I call that out, come to find out that the applicant went to art school, the same art school as me, small world. Only the second person I've ever met that went to that art school. So going through our city code, there's a whole section dedicated specifically to home occupations and home businesses. This is a chart that just draws the distinction between occupation and business. You can see at the middle column there, home occupation is permitted, whereas home business does require special use, and there's certain elements and criteria that it does meet. And I'll go over all those shortly just to ensure that all those are indeed met. When it comes to other guidelines, special use permit, I know I've gone through this before multiple times with council, but for the sake of new hearers, that's just a screenshot of our code. The gist of it is basically those elements there, what a special use permit is, the process they're going through now, public hearing process and fees, all the considerations and qualifications, whether or not it should be approved, the conditions involved, revocations, and then the timeline. So overall, council is a special use permit. The intent is basically when it's not a use by right, council can give permission to do that with certain conditions. The public hearing process requires notifications, so those are on the right side. Those are the notifications that were sent out to property owners, a screenshot from our website, and then the public notice sign posted on site there, which is a good picture. I actually like that picture. Thanks to our water department for putting that in, getting that picture together. So there's 3 elements to a special use permit: compatibility with adjacent uses and districts and all the necessary elements involved, the conformance with our comprehensive plan, and then the history of the applicant as well. So when it comes to compatibility, the adjacent uses in each direction, they're all residential properties. The zoning to the east, north, and west are residential low density, which is what this property is, and to the south, right across the street, begins the commercial core zoning district. The residential area, as you might presume, is supposed to be used predominantly for single-family use, and right across the street, commercial core is for commercial and residential uses that complement one another in a pleasant downtown experience. So the big things on this are what kind of use impacts might there be, and our code lays out some certain elements that we need to take under consideration. So traffic generation, as a retail location, the proposed use by its nature would generate additional traffic, though expected by the applicant to be minimal and from spring through Christmas. There's no way to quantify what the estimated numbers of traffic would be at this time, but it's not anticipated any kind of traffic increase to be detrimental or deleterious to, which means like negative or bad, to the surrounding area. The noise would be very, very minimal. Of course, there'd be additional customer traffic going to and from the carriage house, so there might be additional voices and discussions going on about the different merchandise that might be there, so the neighbors might hear more people talking, that kind of thing. But given the scope of the intent, staff does not anticipate there be any additional noise beyond what a busy property might be like in any kind of neighborhood. Lighting, there's currently no electricity to the carriage house, but exterior motion sensor lights would be added, as well as battery powered lights for the inside of the structure, so nothing out of the ordinary. And then parking requirements. Our code does give allowance for one additional parking space to accommodate the home business for parking of commercial vehicles on the site. However, given that the property encompasses 3 lots and is on a corner, there is significant room for on-street parking, as well as alleyway access to the carriage house for loading and unloading. There is existing adequate parking for the proposed use. So compatibility, on the same lines, all the home business requirements, I'll go through these, there's 8 of them. So a home business shall be conducted entirely within the dwelling or accessory structure on the site. This will be limited to that carriage house. Number 2, the home business shall not alter the interior or exterior residential character of the dwelling unit. That's not going to be touched at all, so no worries there. Number 3, it can't occupy more than 25% of the total finished floor area of the dwelling. Again, it's not part of the dwelling unit, so it's not relevant, nor is it part of 25% of the whole property, if someone was to read it that way, which I think would be a incorrect reading. They are allowed to have up to 2 additional employees. According to the applicant, the business will be primarily operated by the property owners with additional help from their 2 teenage children who also live there. And during busier times, they might employ up to 2 part-time employees. Number 5, noise, vibration, glare, fumes, odors, and so on. This is not expected to be an issue for the proposed use. Number 6, a home business shall not use anything that's going to interfere with radio, television reception. That's not an issue as well. Number 7, outdoor storage of any goods, if they're not associated with the business. All goods will be inside the carriage house, but they're all going to be relevant to the business anyway, so no issues there. And then lastly, number 8, they are allowed additional parking space. And then, like I said, there's adequate space on there already. The next part is conformance with our comprehensive plan. There's a strategy and 2 policies that I pulled out. It's kind of a unique proposition, and so our comprehensive plan doesn't point specifically to home businesses and supporting those, but there's, I think, plenty of support implied in some of the strategies and policies that support the application. And then the last part is the history. So the applicant has never had any kind of project like this before. There have been some things that have happened on the property that we've addressed with the previous property owner as they were preparing the house for the current owner to buy. So there were some things there that they were very compliant with, and then we did send them a letter one time about something growing close to the stop sign and to get rid of it, and they cut it down shortly thereafter. So they've been in complete compliance with all the requirements of the city to date. So when it comes to city council's role, the council can impose any kinds of conditions on there that they see fit. The permit can be pulled if those terms and conditions are not met. And council can specify the duration of the permit. By default, it gets stuck to the property and continues thereafter. But our conclusion overall is that it meets all the special use requirements as well as the home business requirements. And so we recommend the approval for the special use permit with those 3 conditions listed up there, which is the scope is, or the approval is limited to the scope that's submitted as part of the application. Any variation from the scope must be approved by the city administrator, so it doesn't have to come back to council, but we can make that decision administratively. Number 2, the permit is only to the applicant, it's non-transferable. So if they sell the property and move out, someone else can't come in and take over. It'll be null and void at that point. And then lastly, if they do want to do any signage, it must be obtained from the Community Development Department, of course, in accordance with city code requirements for signs. So that is my brief and very quick staff report. Any questions?
Tyler, did you say no electricity is in the building?
Correct. Yeah, the
No.
Great Carriage House.
I was just looking at pictures of the property. Are they planning to cut down any trees or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of, but the applicant, when she comes up, can answer that question.
Okay.
Anything else from me? Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, would the applicant like to add anything? Are you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. Let's see, the only thing I want you guys to know is I have had a small boutique business back in Brighton in 2019 before COVID hit. It did really well. It's kind of the same idea with the little just gifty things and home decor. I've got 2 teenage daughters, and my mom lives with us, and she has MS, so she's crafting all the time. She's got so much inventory, and I just want to give her a purpose. And she loved doing it back then, and she's just been building up that inventory. So it's kind of where this stems from, and we have that cute little carriage house, and I want to turn it into something cute for the town. But there was a question. What was it? Sorry.
Cutting down any trees or anything like that.
No.
Okay.
plans to.
That was it for me.
Okay. Anything else?
Will you employ any people besides family members?
Right now it's just family members, but if we do get somewhat busy or my daughters aren't there, maybe some part-time seasonal employees. Probably some teenagers, because they have friends that need jobs.
Yeah. All right.
Sounds great.
I live right across the street, and they've done an amazing job keeping the property up. It looks great, so.
Is that the one that was recently remodeled?
Yeah.
That brightly
Yeah.
colored kind of.
22, yeah.
It's adorable, yeah.
And we're gonna spruce it up too. It's kind of rough looking right now, but I've stripped down paint off the house to put fresh paint on there and new paint on the carriage house and put windows in and stuff. So the lighting, we're just planning on solar and battery operated stuff because we'll have the windows and it's gonna be primarily daytime when we're operating it. So we figured it'll work.
Cool. Sounds good.
Thank you. All right, do we have any members of the public that would like to make statements in support or opposition? No? All righty. So we will, let's see, council deliberations. Anybody have any thoughts, concerns, questions? I think it
Sounds like a
seems
great
like
thing.
a good thing.
Yeah, good use of the property.
Yeah, good use. So I will look for a motion to close the public hearing.
Move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Counselor Tyree,
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi,
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, so now I would look for a motion to approve or deny this special use permit.
I move we approve the special use permit application submitted by Jennifer Klingler at 403 Cameron Street to use an existing carriage house on the residential property for a seasonal retail sales boutique,
Is that with the conditions?
with the conditions recommended by staff.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Scalisi,
Yes.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Counselor Tyree,
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, so that motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for coming. All right, we got resolution number 2025-9. Tyler.
Back again. I just have one visual. Don't worry about turning off the lights forever. So this, is it one resolution or two?
You've got two.
Okay. They both serve the same purpose, but our attorney recommended they be two separate resolutions. So back in 1991, if I got my year right, City Council moved through resolution to turn over this section of road to the prison at the time for private use. If you remember, they had the fences up there, and so access between the properties to the north and south, as well as just the whole operation of everything made sense. So it was vacated, and then eventually it was split up between the two properties, north and south. A lot has changed since then, and so with the property serving other purposes right now, and both property owners not really wanting to take care of the private road because we vacated it as a public right-of-way back in '91. We talked to them about us just taking it back over. Prior to doing that, the sewer extension that ended up running through there for the Armbar subdivision directly to the west, the north half of the road had to be redone because we had to open it up for the sewer work. And then the property owner to the south, in order to put everything on their property, made an agreement that, well, when you fix up the north side of the road, fix up my side of the road, and that we said on the city side, if you do everything according to city standards, bring it up to what we want, because we don't want an old broken down road to have to then pour money into. They didn't really want to pour money into an old road that they then have to get rid of, but they were still responsible for maintaining it. So they went ahead and made those improvements. Dale, our Public Works Director, said everything's been brought up to city standards, so is satisfied with us taking the road back over. So our attorney put together agreements, deeds for them to deed each of their sections of road back to the city, which are part of the resolution. And so it's before council tonight to formally take back resolution 1. I don't know if it's the north or south side of the road, but take that back, and then the second resolution is the same thing for the other side of the road.
Do we need probably two separate motions for each one? Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry for that and for the long silence. I try to limit that as much as possible, but yeah, we probably do.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so we'll start with the first resolution. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I move we approve resolution number 2025-9, accepting the transfer of certain rights of way from the crop organization.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Scalise?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Horton?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, that motion passes. All right, the next one, do you want to make another report? Just ditto. Okay.
Ditto.
All right. Does anybody want to make a motion on that one?
Move we approve resolution number 2025-10, accepting the transfer of certain rights-of-way, Colorado Farm Products Ltd.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Horton?
Yes.
Counselor Scalise?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. Roll call vote. That motion passes. All right, finance.
I move we approve disbursements and payroll for August 12th, 2025 through August 25th, 2025, totaling $637,250.69.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Horton?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Scalise?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, motion passes. Move on to staff reports. Assistant Administrator Tyler Purvis.
Just two brief things tonight. The first one, just for council's awareness, a few weeks ago, I got an email, actually it was on our city Facebook page. Someone sent us a message asking about the city hangar. There's a organization called Falcon Aero Lab that works with kids, students, and they've reached out to, I think, all the school districts around, as I understood it, as well as some of the homeschool networks, and bringing the idea of aerospace and teaching kids about aeronautics and whatnot at a young age. And so they reached out to us to find out if they can get into the Brush hangar and it ended up working out where they could go out there for 3 hours about 2 weeks ago. And the guy in charge of it, he said, why don't you stick around for a little bit and watch what we're doing? And so we opened up the hangar door, and they had worked with, there's probably about 12 students, I would say from 9 to 12 with their parents that came out there. And they had put together styrofoam-ish airplanes, but they put motors on them, and they were gliding them around inside the hangar and out on the cement, just right off the floor. And so I look back, and so the whole concept that they're looking for, design, build, and fly their own remote control airplane, and build on that with engineering and aerospace courses, and eventually when the kids are older, they actually want to build an aircraft with them. And so they wanted to know the city's participation, and I said, well, keep us informed along the way. But I just thought that was really neat that that was going on in our community, thinking outside the box a lot. So that's the first thing, and the other one is just a heads up that the mayor got a letter from DOLA, nothing bad, but informing them that the Main Street program that the Chamber of Commerce operates, but or houses, but it works through the city, is that we had utilized our funds every year because we're a graduate community. The Chamber gets $10,000 to utilize toward certain projects. The last 5 years, the Chamber saved up that money for $50,000, and we ended up using that as leverage toward the downtown grant that we got for the lights and the paver project going on right now. And so it's time for renewal on that. Right now it's just $3,000 available, but they want to per year, but they want to build on that based on how funds are working on the state level. And so we put that in, and as part of our responsibility, when it comes time for those funds to be distributed through the Main Street program, the city matches 25% of that, and so the $12,500 is what we gave also toward the $50,000, which then we got $250,000 out of, so a great way to leverage our funds. So just kind of a general FYI on that working, and the submission for that is coming up soon. I went ahead and submitted everything already just the other day, so we're good to go on that. That's it.
Good. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
Chief Ecksteiner.
I'm sorry.
Good evening.
Did we lose Dan?
No, he's still there. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. I'm gonna get a call answer. So just a few quick items. Barbecue went really well. I wasn't able to attend. I was taking some time off, but seen a lot of pictures, got a lot of feedback from a lot of the staff that were there, and it sounded like we had a really good time. It went really, really well. So glad to see that we got another opportunity to meet with the community, even extended from John Brush. It went really, really well. They do have the Citizens Academy coming up from October 7th to November 18th. It's going to start at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. They're on Tuesdays. So we've got applications currently here at our office, also at the Sheriff's Office, also at Fort Morgan. So I know if anybody is interested and has availability on Tuesday evenings, we do a lot of walkthroughs through every facility to show you kind of what the interior of the building looks like, and then we go through different scenarios, different things that we deal with. We've got at least a couple of different of those sessions that are happening here in town, typically because we've got the range, we do SWAT stuff, and we do some drone things as well. So we've also got the VR training thing, so I'm possibly going to get that interested in well, see how that plays out. I wanted to take this another opportunity to speak on scamming stuff that's going on. My staff continues to get calls from different folks that are running into scammers. People calling up. We've had a couple of different interests. One is an FBI related one where somebody's posing to be an FBI agent and requesting a Dollar General gift card in an effort to keep them from going to jail. We've unfortunately had instances where people have actually been paying these things out and losing money for these things. Obviously the scare of going to jail, people will do just about anything to do that, but we're just asking that if you do have any kind of scam, be that somebody is threatening to do something, or you pay $5,000 and you're going to get $1 million, something that sounds too good to be true, to give us a call. That way, at least we can present things. A lot of the folks that we've seen take part in these typically aren't in the country, so criminally it's very, very difficult for us to do things. But if we can at least minimize the harassment from these folks, because if you don't call, they call you once, they're probably going to continue to do so. So even if our intervention keeps them from calling you back and stops them, at least it keeps you from bugging that. We had an elderly couple, a woman was trying to get $30,000 out of the bank, Because again, she was supposed to get $700,000, and she was very adamant that she was supposed to do that, and was getting aggravated with banks because the bank's trying to protect her. And until we got involved, she actually finally understood that, this wasn't a scam, this was a scam, and she's not getting any kind of money, and saves them from throwing $30,000 away and not being able to get that back. So if your constituents have any questions or concerns, please give us a call. We want to do what we can to try to at least mitigate those problems just before anybody loses any more money, because we know, unfortunately, it's a big issue in the country, and we want to do what we can and help on our side. Lastly, I just want to hit on, so I spent some time on the internet, on our Facebook page, going around, and I'm following a couple other agencies. So I know there's probably other ways to look at the statistics and ways to look at this, but there happened to be a post from the Weld County Sheriff's Office reference some arrest records that they were posing for their southern part of Weld County. Obviously, they've got their primary jail, and they were trying to find, the agencies in that area were trying to find a way to make it so that they didn't have to drive all the way to Greeley to drop somebody off. So there was originally a southern substation that they didn't have in place anymore. So Weld County just happened to post on there a plethora of different agencies that utilize that south station and why they can't use it. The number that dropped out to me was they have a total between January 1st and July 31st, their total of 739 arrests took place at that substation, that would have been done to that substation. Those include jurisdictions such as Fort Lupton, Frederick, Firestone, areas that I know that are fairly significantly larger than we in Brush. When I looked at those stats, I went back and looked at Brush specifically, and as of that particular time, which is a few days ago, we were sitting at 353 arrests from January 1st to July 31st. So when I look at those numbers and say it took at least 3 of the top agencies with those arrests to get to a similar stat, or a little bit more than what we had. So I know there's probably more statistics where, people, where they live and different things like that, but I thought it was a good highlight and opportunity to show how hard our folks are working and the amount of work that they're doing on a regular basis. So, when I'm comparing these arrest records to jurisdictions that have 17, 18,000 people, and we're, a fraction of that. I think it shows that that we have some hardworking folks that are out there doing a lot of good things, and fortunately haven't have to make arrests being that part of the job, but I think they're doing a great job and they're working really, really hard. So I thought there was an interesting statistic to come across. I just wanted to bring that to your attention to give them a pat on the back and show how hard they work. Other than that's all I have. Anybody has any questions, concerns, anything that's popped up recently?
Dollar General cards, huh?
What's that?
Dollar General cards, huh?
Yeah, that was unfortunately, it was a gentleman that told somebody, and the guy actually went and pulled a bunch of money out of the bank and was ready to go buy some cards at Dollar General, and decided, the FBI takes gift cards to get out of their warrants and stuff like that, which isn't common for our area, but unfortunately they'll go to any means and any explanation to get people.
I know somebody, a very intelligent person that actually got sucked into that a couple years ago. It's been, it's scary how.
An age of professional scammers for sure. I mean, very, very malicious and very consistent, and will keep going and going until they get, a fraction of whoever people they call to give them some money. And terrible example. So the best thing you do is educate as much people as we can, and just have them call. As I said, we're open, obviously always around, and even if case of just answering a question, telling people, don't give any information out over the phone, don't provide anything like that, because one of the scammers actually was able to glean information of the person's address and the last photo of the social. So the person was of the impression that this person knows who I am, so seemingly they must be a part of an actual law enforcement agency, when in fact you can find most of that information readily available online, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time and effort to do that. So it's a bad time, but we just want to bring it to everybody's attention as much as we can.
So are you guys making videos? I mean, you said that. I'm sorry if I missed it. Are you like Facebook videos or anything, Chief?
What do you mean, sir?
For the scams to kind of get the word out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We've been doing primarily just posts for the most part, but I think it might be beneficial to do that. It's hard to do because there's just so many. I mean, over the last 10 years, there's been a plethora of different scams that have gone through, so trying to make sure we hit on any of them, because you put a video out that explains something and then something happens, another nuance that makes it seem a little more believable than these ones over here, but definitely an option we probably look into.
Thank you.
That might be something we need to hit on at the active older adults Thing is, it
I
seems like
think
that's the.
Officer Price did something.
Oh,
that
okay.
I
would-
think she did that at the end of May.
Yeah.
Good deal.
And make it a regular thing this
Yeah.
different, yeah.
It's gonna get worse with AI too.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna get a lot worse with AI.
Great. Finance, Chris Foster.
I have nothing for you at this time.
All right. HR, Kim Bex.
I have nothing for you this evening.
All right. Lorenda.
I'll make up for both of them. First, I wanted to announce that the TV did not, or your presentations up on the TV did not feed through our broadcast tonight, so I'll be asking Tyler for his slides to share online, and we'll be troubleshooting that. We have not had that issue, especially since we got the new TV and they redid the room. We've got a new connection over there, so we'll need to look into that. And then to talk about the election, the deadline for nomination petitions to be on this year's ballot was 5 o'clock tonight. We had 5 petitions come back in and all were determined sufficient. So our candidates that are going to appear on this year's ballot are for Mayor, Mayor Sherman and Councilor Klinkhammer. For Ward 1, Councilor Tyler Horton. For Ward 2, Whitney Machuca. And for Ward 3, Nicholas Skiles. Mr. Skiles is here with us tonight. Thank you for being here. The deadline, we can still have write-in candidates, but the deadline for that, for them to submit their affidavit is September 2nd. And we will have a meeting in here at 5:30 on September 3rd to determine the ballot order. And this year, the only thing we have to determine for that order is the mayor's seat. So we'll decide which candidate is named first and second on the ballot. And then I just wanted to pay recognition to our Deputy City Clerk, Chan McCall. She's been learning more within the City Clerk's office, and for the last several months, she's been composing the meeting minutes with just some revisions from me before they go out. So she's been doing a really great job, and we're planning for her to be here for both meetings in October. And that's all I have, unless you guys have questions.
All right, thank you, Brenda. Dan Crab, our city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Just real briefly, Tyler got me a very voluminous revision to a code, so I'm just starting to work on that, and happy to answer any questions you might have.
Got nothing.
I think we already know everything. No. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, guys.
Monty.
Okay, a number of items. They are pretty quick, though. First one, 7 Circle Drive. That's the house that had burned down a few years ago, 5 years ago, I think it is. There's been a little delay in getting the asbestos taken out of it. There's not a lot of asbestos, but we've got to take it out regardless. And in about another week and a half, that should be done. Then a week after that, then they should knock down that building. Then we'll keep the council apprised of that, the next steps that we'll take in coordination with Dan Krob, just so we know what the most likely steps or outcome of that building is going to be in the future. We just don't know 100% yet, or the property in the future. The other thing is there's a property that we discussed purchasing a little while back. That's still in our discussions. It's just taken a long time to get answers back on that. I'll keep the council apprised of that as we move along. From the Recreation Department, the ball fields, if it's either today or tomorrow, they're going to start laying down sod on the new baseball fields, so we're kind of excited about that. It's been a while. The sprinkler lines are all installed ready, and now the sod's coming up next. And we might be able to use it later this fall yet, but more than likely we'll push most of that off till the spring with the grass get really established. Prairie Dogs had a meeting with a community meeting, property owner meeting in regards to prairie dogs on the north side of town, and we're just taking the role working with the school district just to get the property owners together and see if there's a way that property owners can treat their own properties on that and help control those prairie dogs. The streets, our street crews are out there pretty busy. They've been doing a lot of patching and preparing for all the contractors that come in to do the slurry sill and the chip sealing. And Dale doesn't have exact dates, but through the month of September is the timeline when we typically tackle the streets, and this will be the third of 5 years that we've did an extra work on the streets, and we'll have Dell come in the next meeting or two and just bring an aerial photo to show exactly where all the work's taken place. Active older adults this week, it's taken place on Thursday versus Friday, and that is because the guest speaker, Marcia Cody, the superintendent of the schools, is a speaker, and we had to move the date to accommodate her schedule, but that's going to be on Thursday this week, and she's going to talk about what's going on at the school district. We also have a lease agreement, a 2-year lease agreement that should be coming back to us this week, and then we'll get that to Dan. He'll review that, and then we might have to make that an ordinance because it's a multi-year lease. Keep you apprised of that as well. Then also, I did have a meeting with the Brush Chamber of Commerce, the board, executive board, what do they call it? The executive board, and we're right now discussing that events planning and how we're going to move forward with the downtown lights and maximize the use of those. And I'm hoping by the next meeting we have a better understanding of the direction that we're going to go. That's all I have.
Thank you. I have a question, since you brought up the ball fields. Somebody asked me, and I know I should know this, I'm sure you guys have covered it. Where is the dog park going, or if, and what's the plan?
Let's see, I was trying to remember that now too. I know they took it down, then at one point we're gonna put it on the north side, but I'm not sure after they redesigned the stormwater pond if there's still space for it. But we'll talk to Lance and have him give a good update next meeting.
Okay. All right. Mayor and council reports. Councilors have anything to report? All right. Neither do I. So I look for a motion to adjourn.
We adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All right, we'll go into our work session. Thank you. You're welcome to stick around for the work session if you'd like.
Super boring.
It's gonna be amazing.
Plenty of those in the
Best time of the whole night.
That's when they bring the margaritas out.
Yeah.
Why can't we do that? Do we have an ordinance against that?
I think
I
so.
mean, I feel like.
Making decisions while drunk, I'm sure there's something. Just sit on my.
Okay place, Larry.
Yes,
safe space.
Yeah, yeah.